Hello everyone and welcome back to another trading session. Today is 11th of March 2024. We have Monday, so let's prepare what we can do. First of all, let's check the Forex calendar, or basically the economic calendar, not Forex. And today should be no news events. We don't have anything, but we need to know that tomorrow is CPI. So let's see what we can do in the markets. So far, I have a lot of things also marked from previous session on Friday, so that's something I will need to start deleting. So for now, just the sell side liquidities which have been already swept, I'll just remove. I don't think I will need this daily fair value gap. This buy side, also the all-time high has been swept and we have made a new all-time high. So it's just quickly that I'm doing before going anywhere further. We are now in a 9:16 New York local time. Here we will have New York open. And so far we are somewhere in the middle of this consolidation or in this price range. So this is for sure really good buy side liquidity. And we have this low from Thursday from London session, which is also really close to these ones, which in my opinion is a potential target for today. But in terms of marking things, I want to firstly start with ES. Also to note, we are in a, how should I say? We are in a time where we will be rolling over to a new contract and QM 2024. So for now, the volume seems to be higher on this one, but the open interest is not yet higher. So I will be going to the NQM 2024 probably once the open interest will be higher. Because I was checking even today ES, and ES had still the volume and open interest, both of those values higher than basically the contract for June. So for now, I'll still stick with the NQH and also ESH. So I will start firstly looking on ES, and then I will continue on NASDAQ. So we can see previous week we have made a high, and I'm not sure if this will be a swing high. That if we will start seeing lower prices from this point on, it's difficult to say, but there is a probability. We have made all-time highs on several assets during this time, so it's really difficult market conditions. I'm seeing we have already made around 30 handle range. We have marked sell side liquidity here and here. This could really be potentially a swing high, but then again, it doesn't mean that it will start dropping from here. It still can just retrace and make another swing high on the higher time frame. So we see here there is a small volume imbalance, which we already filled. We went through and now we are trading above it. I'm not sure if this can be a potential area where it will have some resistance and will start navigating higher. The daily fair value gap, there is no daily fair value gap. I probably had it marked when the market was on the upside, and then on the PM session on Friday we could see that there was really strong movement to the downside, so it was repriced. So there is actually no fair value gap. You can see from 10 to the PM session the market went straight down. So now what I can see here, we have equal lows as a sell side liquidity pool on a higher time frame, which is really a strong area. If we will start navigating towards that level, I think it will be really easy to see that we will just straight go down there. But on the 4 hour, I can see we are trading now in this fair value gap. So I'm not sure how we will continue to trade afterwards, after the market opens. It's still quite hard for me to make up a bias. This is the first high that I can see. There are some swing highs all over here. This could potentially also act as an order block, but we touched only the wick. But I think it still can be fine, at least on the 1 hour. And also respecting the 1 hour fair value gap over here, the midpoint. On the 15-minute chart, we are also respecting on the 4 hour the fair value gap with the bodies. The bodies candles closed below. And also this could act as a breaker in case we are still going higher. On the 5-minute, I would need to wait for more price action to really believe where the market can go first. On the NQ and ES, it seems like a really similar price action. So I will need to wait for more. But this is for now my first targets that I'm looking at. This is how far? This is 28 handles. It's quite far. I don't think on NQ it's that far, the sell side liquidity that I was looking at. But for now, we are slowly building up. 8 more minutes until the market open. Let me go to NQ now. I didn't sign. Oh, 1 second. Okay, I'll switch these windows. Here I am signed already. Okay. So on NQ, let me do the review as well. I will need to also mark up more things. We don't have the volume imbalance as we had on ES, but I'm not sure if we actually even got down so much on ES as NQ did. We didn't even really get to the high of this down close candle. As when NASDAQ, we are already trading almost close to the midpoint again. So that's for Monday. So we were really close to the sell side liquidity from here. And we already traded again to the BC on the daily chart from the 22nd February 2024. So on the daily chart, all I'm seeing is the sell side liquidity here and here. This is the first target for sure. We were really close, but then we were starting to go up again. I'm not sure if that will be the same scenario as here. We had a sell side liquidity here. The market dropped heavily, but it didn't sweep the low. And now we made a new high actually. We dropped down, but didn't sweep this low. And I'm not sure how the market will behave if it will start going lower. I would probably like to see that, but this would be really bad for me if it doesn't go down there. But as I said, I don't want to strongly hold any bias anymore. Let's see how just the market prices, and if we can just spot something to take any trades from. So this is a 4-hour fair value gap that I can see for our CB. Then here, the only things that are important for me is the sell side liquidity, which is like 60 handles. That's fine. That's fine of a move. On the 1 hour, we have a fair value gap, 1 hour fair value gap here, which could be a really strong zone to go down from. I really think that there is a possibility that we will see lower prices here. I'm looking at NASDAQ on the 1 minute right now. Did we sweep anything? We sweep these highs actually. And there was a 30-second model even here. But I think that close to 930, I mean, it would be really good target over here. But I'm not really sure if it goes up or down. we are at the equilibrium of this price range. As we can see, we touched the 50%. So that's quite hard for me to say, but as I said, these lows are really, really equal altogether. So I think we will navigate lower actually. We have seen so many higher prices that we just probably we will see some repricing to the downside sooner or later. Also on the 15-minute, the fair value gap looks even nicer. The same case. But I'm not sure if, for me, this would be enough for a trade idea. As most of the time I'm looking for, even on the 5-minute, it went to this fair value gap right here. Just a tiny reprice. Institutional order flow, entry drill. But these highs, if this would be swept before this sell side liquidity is repriced to, maybe I would favor the market going down. But this is quite tough for me to take any trade right now. So again, on the 1 hour, that's where I stopped. So just mark this fair value gap. We were also respecting this 1 hour fair value gap on the Friday on the PM session, and we went down. So now respecting this 1 hour fair value gap, now going lower. So it was actually a good potential, I think. Probably I will need to check where the fair value gap was and if I would have any exits, but I would say yes. The fair value gap was quite high and it's still going lower. So on the 1 hour, this is my first point of interest. If we are to go down, on the 15-minute, these highs are also like a really good potential zone where market can draw to. Really nice equal highs for buy side liquidity. But let's see if we will drop even here, because that's quite far. 144. Wait, what was I looking at? I think I was checking this price move before, and I was looking at 400 handles. But I think I was looking at this one. Yeah, okay. So also these equal lows are a strong magnet as a liquidity pool. So maybe if we are looking for this low to be swept, we might draw also for these equal lows. We have a small BC over here. And also already like 1 minute before market opens. Let me mark where is the opening range. Last time I forgot to mark these things, and then later on in the day I was checking it, and there was a reprice of a 50% once I was trying to, I think once I closed my position, that was the 50% of the range, and that from that point it went the opposite direction the whole session. And I think that is really something important that I need to take note of, because that might give me some confirmation and more information of what I can expect. Because previously I was, the first 3 days that I did these recordings, I always check them, but on Thursday and Friday I didn't. So that was a mistake on my part. But let's see how we will open today. At open, what I think will happen, I think as we are closer here and respecting these fair value gaps, I think we are going to open and sweep these lows. If not, then it would be really good to sweep this, reprice the opening range we just created, and then go lower. That would be good. But I think we are going to sweep the low. But I'm not trying to predict the future. I will also mark the 50% of the range. A lot of the times that is important level. Now repricing again the 1 hour fair value gap. ES is already making a high, so I think we might see higher prices on NQ. We will show ES. So ES is already making higher and higher high, whereas NQ is not yet. NQ I think failed. Yeah, NQ failed to make a new high. So let's see if we are going to draw over here. Because then we will have SMT based on this low being taken on NQ. But we need to be also careful with the trading during this weekend, during this time overall, because the volatility in the market is really, really high. Like even my executions, when I'm trying to take my first partial, most of the time, the first partial that I'm doing now was my full target. And I get the first partial like in not even 5 minutes, like in 1 or 3 minutes max. And that's really fast. That's really, really fast. So we need to be careful also with the risks. So for this week, I will probably trade only with 5 micros maximum. So okay, we will probably see the lows swept here. And as we have the SMT with ES, once these lows are going to be taken, I will probably, maybe I'm going to try to look for longs. I will probably demand more of a sweep. I think this is not that much. But let's see. Yeah, so I would like the market to go at least here, let's say, to the 900s. But for now, we're just waiting. We might get a setup, but we're just waiting now. I'm trying to see if we can get a setup for longs for the buy-side liquidity. But we might get just a bearish day. Maybe this will just indicate us that these are the SMTs on the highs. It's a small SMT, but there is one, so. Okay, I think we went down even more, which is good. ES is nowhere this low. ES is still around the higher part of this price range, like I think 50% as well around. Yeah, 50%. We might get more of a deep down price move, which I would like. I would like the candle to actually close here and open, try to move down as well. Actually, I'm on the 5 minute, I'm not even on the 1 minute. Most of the time I'm on the 1 minute only. Let me see, 15 minutes. There's also a big buy side inefficiency. I mean buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. Okay, so we are starting to form probably a fair value gap over here. Okay, so the fair value gap starts at 930.5. So I will try to take an entry here. If we get the fair value gap formed in the next 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. It might run without me. I think it already ran almost 20 handles. Jesus. Let's see. So we have, this is the second candle on the 30 second. If it goes up here somewhere, I'm for sure closing it. but I can still expect maybe some reprice. But this is just going straight up. I'm not sure if I can expect the market to go down here so much. I don't think so. I will probably not get tapped in. So how many candles this is? And how much of a price move this is? I think this is already a lot. Yeah. Okay, you ran without me. We didn't get any reprice. If I was impatient, I could have entered the market. That would be actually good, because that would be really easy. Almost 50 handles to these highs for sure. And then to the buy side liquidity over here. That was actually almost... Oh, Jesus. That's a lot. But looking at ES seems to be quite slow. I mean, ES is always slower. So we are now trading again in the opening range. And let's see how we will start moving after we sweep these highs. We might get even, again, movement lower. If you would really believe that we are going higher and just for some continuation trade, there was a small 30-second, not really small, but there was a 30-second fair value gap here somewhere where we get repriced. But to me, that's really high. So I would probably not even take this. I would need like maybe the fair value gap over here if I wanted to try something, but that's not something I'm doing. So even the amount of candles for me, it's already like 2, 3. Yeah, it's too much. So even if it goes down here, like now, I couldn't take the trade. And we didn't even get the sweep of these highs. So I wouldn't even be able to look for any shorts. So for now, I just need to wait for some liquidity pool sweep. I was even thinking that maybe during these days, I will not maybe even get a model. It was interesting to see that there was a possibility to take a certain trades every single time. But it might be that during some days I will have like none. So in case that will happen, I might take some silver bullets. But let's see. So we had also repriced to a 1 minute fair value gap. We had respected this level, now going back up. So at least to these highs, 21, to this high, and to this 50% of the opening range. It could be fine. But ES is not making a new high as the NQ is. I'm trying to look. 927. 927 is here. So ES was not able to sweep this low, whereas NQ just destroyed it. And now NQ did even a higher high, whereas ES did not. So I'm not sure if we will see lower prices from here. I mean, this low still looks really good, but also the buy side is really a really nice target. But it depends on how strong the market is for one side, if there will be any low resistant liquidity run. I mean, this was pretty fast, like this was like 2 minutes and immediately went down for the sell side liquidity. If we have even the SMT on the highs, it could be a good potential to look for shorts. But as I said, I'm not really sure what is my bias. I don't have any strong bias. I had the bias for these lows. This was really obvious, but I wasn't able to take any trade based on that. But now if I want to go lower again, there is a possibility. And also for this week, I will probably take only one trade, just because how volatile it has been lately. I'm not sure what I can expect in conditions like this, and I just don't want to expose myself to more risk. So the first trade will be with 5 micros. If I will have a losing one, then the next trading day, or even the next trade that I will take, is going to be with 3 only, until I will bring back the loss. But this would be a really nice trade if we get tapped in. Would be really fast, no drawdown, but we didn't get tapped in. The candle opened and immediately went up. But now we are starting to consolidate here for quite a bit. We are just wicking through. ES still not able to make a new high. Actually making a lower high here. So this is the 930 candle. Over here we opened up, traded up. So we are now even trading inside the opening range on ES. The market as well. Like this. This. So I think we reprice only the, maybe not even the 25%. Almost touched the 25%, okay. But price getting stagnant for some time now. And also to mention, this week on Friday is the first day where I can request the payout, and I'm really close to doing so. And so in case I will not take any trade, I will put at least something in, and maybe it will not be based on any setup, but just so I can do any trading day. And I will use just 2 micros in case I will be doing that. But that's in case I will not trade anything at all. And I will just make the market do its thing. So let's say that I will do on, I don't know, 10.50 or 11. On ES, the price action is really, really bad. If I check ES like this, we can see from 6 or 7 a.m. it went down 23 handles pretty nicely. Pretty nice price action. But then we open and we are just trading inside this range. It's just, this is awful. But on NQ, we are starting to see something really similar. So I'm not really that confident yet for any trade. There could be possibility for long here actually. We got tapped in. But this is a condition that I just don't want to trade. I could still enter here, but I probably don't want to. Whereas ES is quite high. It might be a good opportunity. But I think I missed it already. I could have, but I was hesitant and it's probably going higher and without me. It made the new high. Maybe I will enter if it goes down there. It was 987.25. Okay, by now. It was there already. Oh, I need to lower my stop. 976.25. I don't want to expose myself to higher risk. Basically, I was trying to enter because of this. These 2 lows were swept. So in case I want to get myself in a long, when we are going like really strongly high, I think this was the maybe only option that I can do that. But as we can see, the trade was not good. Maybe this was actually what I was supposed to wait for. But when I was looking at the price action, even on ES, how bad it was, I should maybe avoid trading it. It wasn't that high quality. For short, it might be better. If I want to take another trade, only with 3 micros, for sure. We have SMT with ES on the highs. There is a small fair value gap, 91.5. But I will probably not get this one as well. If I don't get it, then I will probably not even try to look for anything else. This is the second candle on the 30-second chart. So ES is also trying to go lower now. But this would be difficult for me to get into a move. Maybe once I saw that we have taken out a high, I shouldn't have taken a trade. I think that was my mistake. We have also a small fair value gap trading in right now here. But I want to take it only from the higher one. In case I want to go short. Because this is not within the rules. This would be a good trade, I think. But let's see how many candles I still require. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is the last candle that I'm allowing. So this is the last 30 seconds I'm allowing. There's also 1 minute gap over here. Maybe we will get tapped in, I'm not sure. And maybe from this point on, it will go higher. It might. We have still a few more seconds. I'll just allow this one more candle. We'll get tapped in maybe. But if this will get me stopped out again, then I knew I shouldn't have left the position open because it was 6th candle and not 5th. But let's see. So the first, for sure, I will be scaling out most of the position here. If I can even get to it. I don't know if this will continue going higher. Maybe this was just a reprice. Just for continuation for these longs. But as I said, today is really hard for me to build any bias. I'm just trying to go short because of this sell side liquidity here in case we are starting to see lower prices. We have taken out this buy side liquidity here from 930. We went to the 25% of the opening range gap. We have taken out also this high, whereas on ES, we have not done so. Also on the 1 minute, it looks really good. Again, trading in the 1 hour fair value gap. So maybe we will get our first target, which would be really good if we can get that. I'm not sure if I should even strike for more. Okay, we got that. So I think we ended right now on break even. So now I'm break even. And I'm not sure if I can get this low. I might not require it. Or probably get like 50 handles. I think that's pretty enough. And I don't want it to start retracing either. I think I will close it now. Oops. That's fine. I'm glad that I was able to take some profits off. I didn't want to strike for anything high just because I took a loss. And I'm not sure if, again, the market is just going back to the equilibrium of the price range. Maybe repricing this fair value gap. and again we'll go higher. I just took the model as it made sense. I'm still favoring that we will go to this low and go to this sell side liquidity based on how the market reprices. We see on ES, we have not made a single higher high from the market open, whereas on NQ, we have made always just a higher high, then we dropped. So as we had the displacement and the fair value gap open here, that's where I entered. The drawdown for this trade was 981, 5 handles max, which is fine. 5 handles is really good. And it just repriced the gap. It spent there 2 candles on 30 seconds charts, was spent there. And then immediately the next 1 minute delivered the target, the first target, really beautifully. And now we are seeing that we really are going down again. In case this was my first trade, I would not move my stop that much at all. But just because I was in drawdown and I entered another trade, which even I said I wouldn't do. But then again, I'm still trying to learn and really do what I need to do. So that's maybe something I need to improve on. Even though I was able to take the loss back and end the day with a profit, it's still something that I probably shouldn't be doing, because then I could have ended up with more drawdown, which is not good. I can be happy that I have made something back. And in case this was my first trade, I could scale out something here and then I would let the last one run here for sure. Because I would know that I already banked some of the profits and I wouldn't be scared to hold it and get something extra. But just because I closed out these 2 micros here, I was only on break even. So I would rather have something than end up on 0 on the day. Even though I was correct on my bias, I even had like 50. I'm not sure where I entered, somewhere around here, I guess. I had like a 50 here. My take profit as in terms of handles, which was delivered, but I was just impatient to let it hold. I just wanted at least some kind of profit, just so I can move forward. But I think that was not good that I tried to look for another trade, even in a condition where I wasn't that much confident. For now, for sure, I'm not looking for another trade at all. I can be glad I made something. Today I made 74, almost 75 USD. So that's, for me, that's nice. I'm not sad it's not 100. I'm not sad it's not 200. I'm glad that it is still positive and it is still a nice amount. If I would follow my rules and if I manage the trade better, I could have end up with much more. But this is again a problem of my FOMO and not following the rules strictly. Because I was even thinking that this is not that high quality. It is so high. And I was still thinking that we probably should be going lower just because of the all-time highs and we need to start seeing some reprices. And with the SMT on the highs as well on the ES, I noticed that it was not able to go high at all. And we already swept the 930, repriced the gap to 25%. And as we swept this high, I entered after that. So I think that was the most problematic factor that I should have kept in mind, that this is not really something I should be looking for in a long when a high is swept. I really need to pay attention to these and not get myself trapped in a trade which invalidates by this price move. So at least that's something to take note of. And let's say this was my mistake. I mismanaged my execution, and it's fault on my side. So let's see if we get the sweep of this low, which could have been as a target for me. In case I have 5 micros, I'm trying to think how would I manage. So I will go and mark the fair value gap for you. So it was 983. 983 until 981.5. Really small. So this was the fair value gap. So I entered here, stopped 10 handles. It was really safe. I'm glad that I wasn't even thinking to enter somewhere here because there was another one, but I'm glad I wasn't thinking about it. So this was my first exit. As you can see here, I haven't traded anything. So these are the only trades that I'm taking. So this was really bad that afterwards we took the high, I entered, but then I took a short with 3 micros. I exited 2 on 952. So this was 29.5 handles. Most of the time I have 20, but just because I was favoring that we will go down here, I would rather look for this low as a first target instead of 20. But actually now I'm thinking, shouldn't these two even get me in more profit? Because 30 handles with 1 micro is 60. So with 2 is 120. And I was at the break even with 5. How did I get stopped out? Maybe I got stopped out on more. Let me see. So 986.5. And I got stopped out at 976.25. No, I got stopped out fine. This should have been 100. I'm not sure. I was thinking that I have more. And then the last one that I exited was 947.75. Oh, that was bad. I should have waited. This was bad exit for me. Because basically I exited almost at the same place. I think I should have waited. Even though it's still fine because I made profits. That's okay. But I think if I want to really go for good trades and try to really be a better trader, I should really focus on improving my patience, my exits, my trade management, the entries. To be honest, I'm not very satisfied with my performance today. I'm really not happy about the first trade that I did and the execution, the exits, how I stopped the trades on the second trade. I'm not really happy that I didn't even put it or let it run to 50 handles here or even to the full target that I wanted here. And I could even put the take profit here, actually, which would result in 154. Which, if I would do that, then I would be really happy if I could. But that's the thing. This week, to me, or even this day, was quite difficult. Now I will just look at the market, how it behaves. To me, I still favor the sell side here. These equal lows over here. We are in the window of silver bullet. I'm not sure if we will even get any good opportunity. I mean, here is a fair value gap, but this one is really big. It's really big, in my opinion. It's like 24 handles. I mean, if you would have a trade like this is still a good risk to reward. But in my opinion, I would probably want to go either the 25% or the midpoint of the gap. And I would probably not even be that confident after this low was swept if we are really that heavily bearish and going for these lows. There are sometimes a few things in market that I'm not confident in taking once a significant low or something like that is taken out. But I already saw a lot of executions where people, even ICT, he has a sweep of a low with a bearish candle where it closes below it, and that's when he enters. For sure, in a different scenario, not in a market condition like this, but I saw him doing something like that too. But just for me, this is not that. I wouldn't be confident in taking anything in here. Only maybe this one. But for me, I'm not trading anymore. There is even possibility to go long on a 30-second. But as we are over here, we have taken out the sell side. We are showing bearish market conditions here, and we have still the equal lows here. I would not try to go long now. I wanted to go long only from this point on, which really was a good opportunity, but we didn't get filled. But I'm not sure if I would try to look for it now. ES is still showing lower prices. So with that in mind, I wouldn't go long on NASDAQ at all. It's consolidating for a bit. I would probably expect it to draw more into this fair value gap. And then maybe look for lower prices. But this is maybe something that could be done. But let's see how it reprices. So for now, let's just review how it behaves. And I will note or comment anything that I see interesting. Maybe what I would try to expect from NQ is to draw higher, make some swing high over here, and maybe then form a fair value gap, and that's the one from which you could enter. So maybe this would be a really nice potential zone to look for it. So let's say maybe even if you would try to take this trade, you could be tapped in from the 50% of the fair value gap. We can see it start respecting it quite nicely. And we have also taken out these highs. But we can still expect NQ to draw even higher. It can do that with no problem. that it can create a high somewhere, even maybe around here. Maybe it will even take this one out. I'm not sure. But if you want to take a silver bullet, this is for sure an opportunity to do so. But as I said, I would rather, just because of how big the fair value gap is, I would try to look for it only from the midpoint at least. Not even the 25%. I think it's still quite big. But the midpoint is fine in my opinion. And this could be an okay entry, but we can maybe try to look for a swing high to be formed, then a new fair value gap CB, and that one could be a better and maybe safer entry point. But it would be nice to see it in a way like this. We have formed a high, then we will have another higher high, then we have a displacement lower, and the fair value gap would be in this price leg. Then we would have a tap in, and then we could see the price move lower. That would be really nice. But maybe we will see that scenario maybe even here. I'm not sure. But for now, this entry looks quite nice. Already from the entry, you can see we had almost 30 handles. It was 20, 27, which is quite nice. To this low, let me see. To this low, it would be almost 40. We have also a 30-second fair value gap somewhere around here. And we will be maybe forming a 1 minute fair value gap that I was trying to wait for, that we will maybe have another one. So let's see if that will be the case. And maybe this one will be a more safer option to take a trade from. But maybe we will get the rebalance immediately. So I think the market even repriced to the 30-second fair value gap. Yes, just by one tick. So there was a small 30-second fair value gap, which market repriced by one tick, which could have been maybe my entry once these highs were swept. And I noticed how we respected the 50% of this fair value gap. But that's just something I'm noting and commenting. So with my first exit even on the 30-second fair value gap, it will need to be 910.5. So the first exit is here, 20 handles. That's really nice. That's also the swing low, which is a reasonable first take profit taking. Then probably I will need to try to find something on the midway for an exit. There are many fair value gaps even here, so maybe I will try to utilize maybe this fair value gap. Maybe something on the 15-minute. Oops, we are here. So maybe the low of this fair value gap here. Maybe this fair value gap over here on the 1 hour. Okay. So let's just see for now how the market behaves. So we probably did get a reprice even to the 1 minute fair value gap, which in my opinion would be a better silver bullet, because if it doesn't go down from here, I don't think we should be expecting a lower price at all. So this would be also a nice trade. So there are two opportunities with 30-second model. There was another one, but I think the silver bullet makes more sense in a price range like this. But it's starting to slow down here, which I don't really like. With the price action that I'm noting right now, I'm seeing we had made SMT on the lows with ES and NASDAQ. We have broken this high with quite a displacement. And I'm not sure if we are actually going to see higher prices right now. In my opinion, how it looks, it still didn't violate this gap. But I think on ES, this is from 958. So how it looks here. So the gap on ES is much higher. But I feel like this will be a losing trade in case someone would take it. For sure, the stop would need to be at least at the high of this candle, which was not yet violated. We have a small fair value gap right here, which I'm just noting this because still the stop loss is put here. It was still not yet taken out. So in case we would be in a short, we are still in. But I'm just noting it if this is really a point where the market will start going higher. And this was maybe an opportunity where you could take it. But for now, I'm looking at it from a bearish condition. So I'm not looking for a buy right now or trying to market it. Okay, now I would actually rather buy. I'm just trying to note any important things on the market. I will remove this drawing. We know that we would enter on the midpoint. Stop loss would need to be on the high. I just want to see it more clearly, how it looks. But let's say for the purpose of reading the price, we would be still in a short. Most of the time, I would not even put stop loss that high, which in my case, I think I would be stopped out. I think this is, yeah, that's more. But in case you should put it with the really proper risk management and the trade idea and with the rules how it should be, if your stop is here, you are still fine. And now you will be again in profits. And this gap also, and the candle was violated now. So we are probably going to see lower prices still. Probably heading for these lows. Let me remove this sell side liquidity. I'm not sure if you can even pyramid more contracts in case you are trading in a scenario where you are building up your positions. This could be a potential area where you could build up more. And this is actually the scenario that I was highlighting before. I was thinking that this is the one that made it, but actually it happened just afterwards. That we had made a higher high that I was anticipating. We have made a CB here, and this one would be much safer in my opinion. But we didn't get the touch of the fair value gap. But this is really nice that I was actually even anticipating and even drawing it on the chart. And as we can see here, it's going down quite nicely. But I would not get any opportunity to get in this move. I couldn't even utilize any, I think it didn't even go into this previous fair value gap. We were still a few handles short, maybe like, not handle sticks. And we didn't get even touch of this fair value gap. But it's not always that nice as you would like it to be. But maybe we would get the reprice in the fair value gap now. So let's say in my case, I would have 10 if I would get entered on. That's something I'm reviewing for myself. Also, this is something that I was anticipating. And in case that I was trying to wait for this trade, I would just need to be really patient to get it. And as we can see with today's performance, I was not patient at all. So I would probably not get this trade if I wanted to go for silver bullet. But also to note, there is a higher fair value gap here. So in case you are trading this, you would need to incorporate also this this fair value gap. So at least 15 handles for me, realistically all the way up here. But I'm just marking it for myself in case I would enter this silver bullet trade. So the sell side liquidity here is 26. I think it's 27. Let's say we would say 27. The candle closed below the midpoint. So let's see if the next candle will do the same. Or if it will just reprice here. This would be a really good market pricing if from this fair value gap it will go straight down. Because that will at least give me confidence that I can anticipate moves like this, as I was marking this before with these arrows that I wanted to see a new high. And then in this price move, I wanted to see a fair value gap where we will reprice and then reach lower. So if that happens here, that would be really nice to see. And even with my stop loss being still a profitable trade. So the second candle also respected the 50% of the fair value gap. We have also a buy side fair value gap here, which could act as a inversion. And now we are trading inside the higher fair value gap. So if I would enter on this trade, it would not be good. But as I was saying, it can reprice to the higher fair value gap. So that's something you would need to incorporate your risk. And if you want to be really safe, it would need to be up here at least. But the first trade, we wanted to enter from the midpoint here. The stop was supposed to be up here, or at least at the close of the body. So that trade is still like valid. If I was to enter this one, it would not be profitable. I would get stopped out. But I still believe we are going lower. The trade idea from this level is still really good. It was not bad at all. We just repriced the higher fair value gap too, closed again below the 50%, which give us more of a confidence that we are still respecting those fair value gaps. So we could still believe and be confident that this goes down, because we are just repricing those fair value gaps. Just because my trade was not profitable, it's just because, in my opinion, that my stops are just really tight. And it's like fixed amount of handles. To this trade and to even to the trade from this CB, it wouldn't make sense to have only 10. For me to be safe in a trade in this area, I would need to have a trade where the 10 stop loss is like here to be safe. Then in this case, it would be a good trade. But that's not how I would take it. I would not believe that we would be going that high. But if we close above this candle, I think that invalidates the trade idea. But for now, we can see how much market is spending time over here. I don't really like this market condition. It's Monday as well. We have already moved quite a lot from open to the downside, taking out the highs, then again making a new low, and now we are consolidating around this area, but still not violating this gap. So I think once it moves above this candle, I think that's when I'm calling it a day. Because clearly I am offside. And even today, my patience was not good. I'm not really satisfied with today's performance. For tomorrow, I will really need to work more on trying to execute a really high quality trade. To be honest, even with this one, I quite broke my rules because at the start, when I was trying to build my model, I will try to even look for my notes. I'm not 100% sure if I wrote it there how I think I did, but I need to find it. Yeah, so I wrote for myself rules that I want to take a trade only 3 candles max once the fair value gap is formed. But for the week when I was trading, I allowed 4 or 5. So that's something that I implemented during. So I'm not sure if I should consider that a broke rule or more of a just adjustment. I would say I would taking more as an adjustment. But the trade that I took, the second one, the short over here, that was one on a 6th candle. And I think that's a broken rule. Let me just count the candles once again. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So this was 6th candle on a 30 seconds once the fair value gap was formed, and that was a broken rule. So even though the trade turned out to be profitable, I think it's still wrong for me to take it. Because in the end, still in the markets, if you do something wrong, you can still make money on it. So that's something I also need to work on more, to really be strict about the entries, strictly follow the rules, and I think that's what will keep me in the game on the long run. I ended the day on a positive, almost $75, which still is nice. Don't get me wrong, it's nice that I made money, even though that I lost on the first one. But I'm not satisfied with today at all. It's not that I lost my confidence or anything, but I'm just quite disappointed, and I will require more of a performance from myself on the next day. So tomorrow is going to be CPI. Not really sure what do I predict from the market. We will see tomorrow. Again, I will need to build my bias during the day when I will start marking things if I see anything interesting or not. But that will be it for today. It's 10:33. We can see the market is starting to really rally strongly higher after we took this the sell side liquidity here. ES is not following that much, but I believe it will start picking up. Any trade idea over here? For me, probably no. I would not be able to get in this move, and I would not expect this move if I'm being honest. So this is really tough conditions for me as well. So maybe that's why my performance was not that good. And it's good at least that I'm really happy that I scaled down even on the first day. Because when I started those series on the first day, I started with 10 micros. And even if I'm making so much profit that I'm actually like quite high, I can maybe afford to have higher leverage, but still I need to really learn. I need to keep my risk management to the point. I'm happy about the risk management today. That's something at least that I can say that I'm happy about how I managed that. When I took a losing trade, even the first one was with a lower leverage, which was 5 micros compared to the first day that I did. And then the second trade that I did was with 3 micros. So I, even within the same day and also with the second trade, I scaled down. I didn't want to take back with the same leverage. So that's at least something that I'm glad about. But there is still a lot that I need to work on and improve on. So there are some points that I can reflect on. I know what I did wrong. We talked about it here, why this trade was wrong. And there was also a broken rule here, but to my uh, to my luck and to be fortunate, this trade turned out to be profitable. So that will be it for today. I will be not reviewing the markets anymore. As I said, quite tough condition for me. A lot of back and forth and consolidation here. So I will close it now and I will try to take rest. And then tomorrow is another trading session. So as I said, CPI tomorrow, we need to be careful. So let's prepare and let's take the best trades we can and be patient. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next trading session.